All right. Everything should be running just fine. Sandra, how are you doing? Is everything fine? Good, good. I like your gifts. Perfect. Love to see that everything is running well. Chris, welcome in, Chris. How are you doing? So, now, all right, perfect. Got some nice stuff to say. So, the Rome people, they told me best would be Friday. Got our hands on another dev team, which is currently running a pre-sale. I think it's running until today. And this pre-sale, they will be joining us as the dev team tomorrow. I know this guy running it for quite some time through another Discord. He's also a very, very good guy, also from finance. So of course we try to work out something together there. So basically, I will announce this right in the chat appropriately. But we will have tomorrow the team of Scorpion Finance, I think it's called, just explaining a little bit to us what they want to achieve, what they are planning to do, and everything else. And then on Friday, we will have Rome with us, with Jerry. I think also Justin and Brian will be on board for the AMA with us, so we can basically ask some detailed questions there. Right, this is always very, very exciting there. Blaine, how are you doing? Everything fine, Blaine? But I will announce this appropriately. Just talking um, to the guy who is basically running Scorpion Capital. But they will be with us tomorrow at 20 UTC. So he has some time to eat. And then on Friday, we will have Rome over. So pretty nice, pretty exciting. Still waiting on another dev team as well. Reached out to them. And then also we have some other, let's say, community AMAs with potential investments, upcoming stuff, and all of that different stuff, right? Because before we take the poll, we want to have the AMAs so everyone has a pretty clear idea of the stuff which is coming up in the poll or possibly coming up in the poll, right? Because then also the AMAs help us a lot to ask the right questions, especially for something like Rome, which is considered a pretty big project by itself. They want to raise a considerable amount of money, right? And then of course, while being tied to a real company out there, you start to ask different questions, right? Because this whole business concept needs to fit, it needs to make sense. There are still some questions from our side, so let's see. All good, Paul. Thanks. Hope you're keeping going. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Easter helped a little bit to calm the mind, just to get everything straight again, right? Of course, also with family and all of that stuff. So now we are ready. Currently working on because I think I didn't see you yesterday, Blaine, in which I talked about this. Currently working on some whiteboard style videos. These are basically, I think you also call them doodles, right? This is basically in my opinion, one of the nicest ways to explain stuff in a very appealing way, but still a simple way, right? Because it's very, very visual for the people which are viewing it. So basically, right, not just because this is the first time that I've been actually doing it, right? And handling all of these animations, and then timing all of the animations in the right way with a sound overlay can be a little bit tricky, right? But then again, I will get this done in an appropriate way. And then we can use this style because we had in a recent AMA that we want to do something like a educational series, right? With videos which are still appealing, right? Not only a ARMA recording, but then again something which we set up as a video which we could refer to for new people joining in, or for people which might be interested, right? We can just refer them to the videos for this little series going on, and this will help us a lot. Because I can tell you, I had some people already, for example, from Moonrock, right? I think they already have such a whiteboard style video. And then I had someone watching it and he was telling me, hey, this is looking so good. I want to drop some money in, right? Which is nothing bad at all. Because we are invested in Moonrock. But then again, these are sometimes simple things which work very, very well during the time. But otherwise, we are just keeping the flag up, working, looking forward to the new poll. So also for you, Blaine, if you have any suggestions, we want the next poll to be sticking to the BSC chain as well. Then the next poll after this poll will be for the Ethereum chain, and then we will move from chain to chain, right, starting to build up our project holdings. Pretty interesting stuff happening, because we have a lot of suggestions which we are checking out. Tomorrow Scorpion Capital will join us, which is basically a pre-sale, an ongoing pre-sale at the moment. They are launching through a fair launch. They did hit the cap already, I think. I'm not like entirely sure, but they will be over at our place tomorrow, which is quite interesting, right? Because early projects always are very, very interesting to join in. Chris, how are you doing? Everything fine, Chris? Wait, is this? Yes, everything is running here. Perfect. Sorry for that. So some interesting stuff upcoming. If anyone wants the pre-sale link for Scorpion Capital even before the AMA, just let me know. I can provide it to you. As I said before, I know the dev through this whole dev experience we had, right? He's a good guy, so nothing. There should be nothing to worry about from the dev side there. How's everyone doing? Pretty fine. Scott, welcome in. How are you doing, Scott? Wait, I think I missed to reply on something there, Scott. Let me see. Here. There it is. There is a video production guy talking about making high quality videos for a project. Sure, if you have his contacts, right? And you may have some samples, for example, which he could send us, then this would be perfect, Scott, for this video production guy. Just missed to answer it, to actually type out my answer. I was thinking my answer, but I wasn't typing it out. Okay. So we'll just let the people join in as usual. And then I would say we will start our little fund AMA session. Because today, fund AMA is on the plan. As you all know, due to Easter, we did postpone our schedule with the structured AMAs 1 day back. So basically yesterday we had the fundamentals, today we have the fund, tomorrow we will have, instead of the in-depth marketing AMA, we will have Scorpion Capital over, and then on Friday we will have Rome over, the team of Rome, to join us in, just to give them a chance to explain us their projects for the upcoming poll, as we said before. Then you all can give us some feedback. You can make your own research there from there on. And as I said before, if anyone needs the link, because Rome we already provided, but then again for Scorpion Capital, we just scheduled the AMA today, right? The pre-sale for the fair launch is ongoing still. If anyone wants the link for it, just let me know, right? Just ping me in the chat, then I will DM it to you, or just DM me directly, then I can provide it to you. All right.
Hey, Paul, how's it going, man?
Hey, Scott, how are you doing? You got my answer, which I did basically tell and not type.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond real quick, let you know. AJ responded to me earlier. I gave AJ the guy's contact info. I didn't engage with the guy because I didn't want to get a ball rolling. Then he thought he had something on the line. Then he came in and started bugging you guys to death. But I gave the info to AJ. So he's got it if you guys want to check him out. I don't know much about him, but he seemed really professional in the chat that I was in, and he had some good ideas. So it didn't look like your standard Joe Schmo that does, basic videos. He looks like he knows what he's doing. So I tossed that over, and I'll let you guys run with it. But let me know if you need me to do anything.
Yeah, perfect. So I will talk to AJ later. Then we can see if you want to reach out there. Now, perfect, Scott. All right, then I am on the exact. We are on the same page now. Perfect. That's always interesting, right? Especially videos, because I tell you, creating videos is, if you're new to it, quite complicated, right? And then you want to create videos which bring some actual value with them, not only from the educational side, but also from the visual side, which could sometimes be a little bit hard to provide. All right.
And this guy in his little Telegram bio, it had his LinkedIn account. It was in a different language, so I didn't have time to translate, read it, or anything. But he looked perfect.
Okay. I like.
You think, hey,
I like
maybe
LinkedIn's.
I'll let you guys take a look at him. Maybe it's worth. Yeah, the AJ said the same thing. It definitely a little bit more credibility to you.
Yeah, definitely. LinkedIn. I don't know for example for the rest of the world, but I can speak for Europe by itself. LinkedIn shows a little bit of like this professional approach, and if he has a LinkedIn connected, this is always a good sign. So basically, could be very valuable potentially, right?
Beautiful. All right, I'll let you guys get to it. I gotta hop back to work, man. Have a good AMA. I'll probably jump in here and there.
Perfect, Scott. Have a good one at work, right? All right. So let's see. Now should be fine. Screen should be shared. And then we can jump into our fund AMA, right? Because as we said before, got a kind of tight schedule at the moment, especially with all of the vetting going on in the background. So for the upcoming poll, I can tell you it will be BSC related, because we want to like invest the rest of the BNBs we have, basically. We are looking at different options there for upcoming projects on the poll, or let's say potential investments on the poll. And then after we did this poll, as I said, want to do the AMAs first, especially if we have new projects involved. This is a better way to ask the right questions and everything. And then after the BSC chain poll, we want to jump on the Ethereum chain poll. So basically, if you have any projects up your sleeve which you think are worthwhile to take a look at, right, because they have a nice staking, or hand out good rewards, or have other things which basically create passive income for us, just let us know, right? Just DM us directly. We will then check it out Don't be mad if we don't reply like directly or are not able to read it directly. Just hard at the moment to keep up with the DMs. But we are doing our best at the moment. All right. So everyone is here on the same page as well. BSC chain for now, then upcoming Ethereum, and there it doesn't matter if it is a new project or a already existing project, 1 year old, 2 years old, right? This doesn't matter at all. Just if you have something which you say, hey, this is worth to take a look at, let us know, right? Just let us know. All right. Then basically, since we covered like a little bit of the upcoming stuff, we can take a look at our fund currently. So, just a little struggle, like with the fund in general, I think. But let me make this a little bit bigger, so what for easier time to see it. Just a little struggle to add Matic and Algorand from the dev team side. Not a struggle from the technical side, but from the time side at the moment. Because basically, of course, there's a lot of different stuff which we need them to get fixed, which is, for example, there are still some issues with the BNB price. So basically, sometimes the BNB value is like completely wrong. So basically, it shows us a value of 1 BNB being worth, I think it is $130,000, right? I honestly don't know how this price gets dragged into this dashboard, but then again, it's fixed at some stages already, but then again, the BNB price is tied to many different things in the dashboard, so they need to fix this one, and then they need to add Matic and Algorand, because this is basically right now missing as an investment. Moonrock as well, since they did migrate to the Ethereum chain, right? They migrated from BSC to Ethereum. Was a very smooth process for Moonrock, but then again, it takes a little bit of time, because for existing projects, we basically use the option, I think it is from CMC directly. So CMC needs to basically rework the Moonrock listing first for the migration process. This takes some time from the CMC side. Need to cough, sorry. All right, now, back again with a clear throat. So this takes a little bit of time. There is quite some stuff missing at the moment. In addition, they are already checking other possibilities. For example, as you are all aware, we most likely will have MetaRafi as our first metaverse property investment on the poll. So basically, we will buy into MetaRafi and then buy property as with the fund, basically. And then we also need a appropriate way to show off the property, right, in the fund display. So this is something which they are also working on currently. And also the dark themes, right? Dark themes for our normal website and for our dashboard by itself getting worked on. Besides the whole thing of the private sale and crowd sale platform, since you all know this is already under heavy development from our development team side, and we want to basically create this this dashboard which is basically holding all of our ecosystem at one place, with the fund dashboard, the investor dashboard, with the private sale and crowd sale platform, and the launchpad in the future. So basically want to cover it all through one basic dashboard, right? This is the easiest way to manage it from our side. Okay, so this from the from the little issue side, right? There's always some technical issues you run into, and then I can also tell you, even if you know what causes the problem, sometimes it is a little bit tricky in IT to actually solve the problem then, because you might run into issue number 2 and 3 while working to solve the issue number 1. So basically IT might be sometimes very complicated, and sometimes you need to postpone things a little bit, right? So nothing to worry about from this side. Then again, It's just the display, right? The money is actually invested, so everything fine from their side, this side. Just a reminder, Matic, Algorand, and Moonrock are at the moment missing. There's also missing our Revive token. This was actually we did get in at the pre-sale stage. Yes, we did get in at the pre-sale stage. We still need to display this one off, but we need to edit manually as well. But this will appear as well in our fund dashboard. Okay, so this for the existing side. As we had our last poll going on, the last poll was basically to add our treasury in the fund, which is a very basic step, a very important step if you are running a fund with the goal we have, right? So basically we want, of course, to invest into projects cross-chain, not only on the BSC chain, but also, for example, on the Ethereum chain, on the Matic chain, on Bitcoin chain in the future, right? Or many, many different chains we need to invest our money into, because you also need to spread the risk through various chains out there. To actually be able to invest the money, of course, you need to hold the actual blue chip first. So for the Ethereum chain, of course, Ethereum, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible for us to make an investment there. So this was a very, very important part for the fund to actually start the cross-chain investments, also adding the treasury for this different chains there, starting this whole process up. This enables us to make various different investments in the future. Very important poll there we had, can tell you. Then again, we had this question quite some times already. What will we do with the blue chip tokens which we don't use? Because you need to hold a, let's say, considerable amount of the blue chip ones, as for example Bitcoin or BNB or Matic. Yeah, doesn't matter now which one you're talking about. And then most likely we are, of course, looking into, for example, staking processes or something else like this, right? This is possible even with this big blue chip ones. You just need to find the right solution for it, because then again, we don't want the money to just lay there, even if it is in crypto, and crypto by itself is very volatile. If you have the option to actually use it for an additional investment, since we are holding it long term anyways, then this would be the best option for us in the long run, of course. All right, so this was the last poll we took. Now basically, because I didn't start off right with the, let's say, with the fundamental part of the fund, because I can't see someone who is particularly new, right? Checking both chats here. Let me know if you need to know something about the fund by itself. One question I can already answer. We got this question also quite a lot already in the past. So when will we start the actual distribution process? So we as a team, we have in mind the 100K mark in total holdings, right? This is a good benchmark for the fund itself. Once we reach this point, we will of course set up a poll. If the people want us to start the distribution process now, I guess most likely the poll will be with, I would say 90% yes, please start the distribution process. This will help us a lot, also from the marketing side, because then again you have this working utility, right? This is also a very, very important part here. All right, so this basically, just as a rough number, just take out the holdings we have in banks in your calculation there, because the banks we hold in the fund, we didn't invest any money from the fund into our own project. We won't do this at any time in the future. The fund is here to get more independent with our whole, let's say, ecosystem in total, from the token itself, from the trade volume and everything else. So basically, this is our a separate income stream, right, which we do not want to tie into the token by itself. The banks we are holding in here, they have been a team vesting. The team waived on. So basically, we said, all right, we will just put the tokens into the fund. There, of course, the fund receives the BUSD for this amount, so it helps the fund compounding a lot. This is a very important part. Was for us a very important part. It did already generate quite a lot of money with BUSD only, and I would say the bank's part is the biggest part in it, of course, because of this pretty big holding there we have in banks. So basically this, because we already also had a question, hey, why are we not buying just our token directly with the fund? No, not a good idea, because we want to actually be independent of the token itself with the fund, right? And if we then have a very big holding, which we actually paid for, which we invested money in our own project, this would be, yeah, we would tie ourselves again into our own trade volume, into our own market cap and everything, which we want to step away with the fund by itself, right? So basically a big no-go from the fund side to actually invest in our own token. Not because it's fundamentally weak or something like this, right? But then again, it wouldn't be the purpose of the fund. If we want to buy back something, we would always use the buyback and burn. I can tell you we are consecutively buying back the tokens in smaller amounts, right? Just dropping in here and then some smaller buys, sometimes a bigger buy, always depends. And then just accumulating the tokens by itself. This is the reason for the buyback and burn wallet. We don't need additionally the fund, right, to buy our own token. Not the purpose behind it. Okay, so is there something which is very, very interesting which happened like lately, right? Because especially from the fund side, I would say nothing which is particularly something which I would say, hey, this is like a very, very important fact there, right? Very important to note. Only thing which comes in my mind, which is very, very interesting and good to know, especially from the fund side, Moonrock had the migration from the BSC chain to the Ethereum chain. The migration process was smooth overall. So now they are trying to yeah, let's say attract some Ethereum investors with this migration. As long as the process is smooth, this is fine from our side, right? Might be a good idea to do this kind of migration, right? Because this might sound a little bit harsh now, but I can tell you the BSC space is not anymore super popular, let's say, around dev teams, right? A lot of dev teams are looking for other chains, Solana, Matic, even Ethereum, even if Ethereum has this very high gas fees, but then again, this is more, you could say this, or you could describe it as this gentleman chain, kind of, right, from the investment side. At least sometimes, right? Doesn't fit into everything which is running on the Ethereum chain. Don't get me wrong here, that this is how you could experience it as a actual dev team. And then there are, of course, some other very, very interesting chains with Matic, for example, right, which are very interesting from the dev side to actually run the project on this chain. Then again, we are happy on BSC at the moment, but we said already before, with the token by itself, there might be a migration in the future, but nothing to worry about from your side, right? This is nothing which is bad. If we ever want to migrate, for example, let's say into Solana, just as an example, right? Then we would always take polls, talk about our, let's say, options we have. What is the good thing about option one? What might be bad about option one, right? So basically trying to cover everything for a future migration. All right, because this is also something which I think I saw this popping up today in the chat, with the whole migration process. When are we migrating? So it's not definitive yet, right? It's not definitive. We said we don't want to migrate at the moment. just because of the overall macro market. Then again, at some point, we might face a migration, which is not bad, right? This is nothing to worry about, like seriously nothing to worry about. Might be very interesting to come up in the future. All right. So this from our side. Some other things which happened. Evergrow coin, they did list. I'm always forgetting the name of the actual exchange, can tell you. What was it called? Huh, don't remember. But the interesting part with the exchange listing, which was coming with Evergrow coin, is that parts of the, let's say, taxes are flowing into the Buyback and Burn wallet, right? This is a pretty interesting part of the tokenomics. It's good to know that you are that you also see as a dev team, hey, this is actually possible on this particular exchange. Always good to see the options. I said this before already. Exchange listings, even at the moment, with the overall volume being pretty low, they might have some impact, right? But then again, they will have impact in the long run, but don't expect like this very big serious impact with a very big volume surge and a very big pump in the market cap or something like this, only because of some exchange listings. This is not changing the overall fact. This will help definitely, of course, don't get me wrong here, in the long run, right? Exchange listing is always very, very valuable for a project. If you have many exchange listings done, this helps with the overall exposure and accessibility of the token by itself. But then again, at this current market stage, as we can see and we experience it, right, Shiba was even listed on Robinhood and all the different stuff, the overall buy pressure is just very, very, very low at the moment, right? Very low at the moment. Don't get me wrong, it's not impossible to create a kind of pumping chart, right? But it's very, very hard at the moment to actually do so with the current macro market stage. But then again, from the investment side, a nice step that they actually took with the listing. I like to see this one, right? Then again, from the current ongoing investment side, I still need to sit down and actually change some numbers because we have more BUSD which we got. I will send more BNB into the fund wallet, so we are ready for the upcoming poll. So some things which are changing in the fund itself. And again, the biggest part which is, let's say, annoying me the most, or the biggest, is basically the fact that 3 investments are 3 reasonable big investments, right? Which are still missing on the actual display. This is bugging me a lot, can tell you, at the moment. But then again, of course, technical issues, they sometimes just need some time. All right, this for the actual part of the fund, right? Now, for the upcoming polls, I already received, I think, 2 DMs already with upcoming or with potential investments. So keep this up, right? We can't have our eyes everywhere in the crypto space as a team. So basically, of course, we need a lot of eyes out there in the crypto space to spot potentially good projects, good investment cases. All right, for the upcoming part, as I said before, we want to focus on the BSC chain. With this next poll, the poll right after it will be on for the Ethereum chain, and then we will proceed and make our way through it. But for the BSC chain, we were thinking of 4 to 5 potential investment cases there, just to start the dollar cost averaging into the projects as well. MetaRafi with the actually property investment we want to do there is quite high on the list, because we like to get into this whole metaverse thing going on. And with MetaRafi, you have a very, let's say, potentially very good investment there. They're still very, very young. but they are a pretty big team, pretty experienced team, right? This is let's say, if you're taking a look at a scale, I would consider it a very big starting project already, right? So very, very interesting there. And they're putting down a lot of work, right? Watching them constantly. Now, I can tell you I'm not watching the price, but then again, I'm watching this whole project evolve in a whole, right? This is always the important part for me. Okay, this one is very interesting. From this point on, nothing which we say, hey, this will be definitely on the poll. We have Rome, which is a very, very early investment. They are basically in the seed round at the moment, ran by Legacy Capital, which is initially a marketing company. They are fully doxed, so nothing to really worry about from the team side. Then again, you need to ask the right questions because Rome is actually tied into a real world business. So basically, a lot of different stuff which you need to ask there. Then we have Scorpion Capital. They are actually running a pre-sale at the moment. They will be at our AMA, or let's say with us in an AMA tomorrow. So could be quite interesting. It's also a very, very early project there. I know this, let's say, this guy running the project for quite some time now. Not personally, but through the internet. Was helping at, let's say, a little bit with the upcoming pre-sale and everything. He was just basically asking for my opinion and all of that stuff, right? Just very, very nice to have. Just as basic networking. He's a good guy, hardworking guy, also from finance. So he brings also this traditional finance experience in. But then again, we can ask any questions tomorrow, right? So if anyone needs the link or something like this, just let me know. I can provide it to you. But you should be able to find it on PinkSale pretty easily. And then we can check it out together, right? For other stuff which is upcoming, we have a lot on our list, right? But then again, we need to check like a lot of different projects. So can take a deep dive into everything. This would be way too detailed at the moment. But could be very, very, or will be a very interesting poll, right? Because then again, we have the target of, let's say, at least four investments, which we add as projects to actually start the investment in. So quite a lot there. Okay. Do we have any questions for the fund? For anything I said at the moment, something which is unclear or not clear at the moment, or even a suggestion, right? If you are too lazy to write it to me directly, you can just hop in the VC and tell me about it as well. Nothing to worry about there from this side as well. Right. Just need to cough again. Give me a second. All right. Now I'm back again.
Hi, Paul.
Blaine, how are you doing?
All good, thanks. How are you?
Pretty good. Just a little like coughing problem at the moment, right? But nothing.
I'm actually
nothing
the same
bad.
myself now.
I think it's the time, right?
I think so. I had one question about the fund.
Yes, go on.
So obviously, a lot depends on whether this registration goes ahead over the next few months.
Yes.
Is there a plan B if that doesn't work out? Is what I'd like to know.
But the plan is, if this doesn't work out, with, like, for example, with the fund by itself.
Yeah.
Good question. Good question. We have some different options in our sleeves, right? If we say, all right, so let's say from the lawyer side and everything, the company registration is fine. It's just a matter of time, right? But then again, if there is, we are always taking a look at different options. If this company registration like fails completely because of the fund or something else, right, in this whole company structure, which is holding us back, we have different options, right? Is option one, in which we say, all right, for the remaining holders, we will just distribute the holdings, right? We will sell off the holdings and then we will distribute, for example, BUSD to everyone who is still holding the token at this time. Or we say, all right, we take the money, for example, and then most likely it will always be a poll, right? And we say, all right, we will take the money and use it for a new project, right? As kind of a budget, for example, just to change some things which didn't work out the last time and to make the things progress in the future, right? This is also like this, let's say, worst case scenario, of course, right? If you face, let's say, this very, very big sell-off, which leaves you in a very, very, very low market cap, in which you say, it's very hard to move from this point now, then of course there's always this question, what will happen with the fund money? We won't take it for ourselves, of course, right? So there's either these two options, right? Either we say, all right, the community wants to proceed with us as a team, and they tell us we want to move forward, so let's go, right? Kind of this way. Or they say, we don't want to move forward, right? Or or buyback and burn. Yeah, I would say that the problem with a buyback and burn, let's say, for example, especially if you did face a very, very big sell-off, is that either you will face another sell-off afterwards, right? Which is basically just a liquidity trade then, with someone who was wanting to sell off as well. Or you will face the next problem, right? How do we proceed from this stage then, once we sold off? Well, not once we sold off, once we bought back, right? This is always the problem you would face. Of course, a lot of different options, but this would apply to, let's say a worst case scenario, right? Because we wouldn't go this way, this very complicated way with the company registration, if they told us, there are very, very little chances to actually be successful with it, right?
Yeah, thanks.
I hope I could answer it.
You have, yeah. No, just for me personally, what pulled me into this project is the fund, the whale fund. I think it's
Exactly,
kind of a
yes.
unique idea.
Yeah, definitely, right. It's one of our USPs, or let's say one of our biggest USPs. This is just a very, very interesting concept, which we came up with together with the community. And of course, there's always these two different things in the background, right? There's always the possibility to actually fail. So what will happen with the money once, if this fail is happening, right? Of course, we would like as a team to proceed, just with the connections we did build up already, just doing things a little bit different. And then, of course, hoping for better macro market situation, because since we launched, we didn't face a very, very appealing market overall, right? But then again, of course, we want to also focus the marketing more on the fund by itself. This is also the reason why I want to set up this whiteboard style videos, right, which we can use, because I think there is like no influencer, for example, out there who is doing this style of video, which we could use. If I'm wrong, let me know, because I will definitely reach out to this person. Otherwise, you need to explain the fund, right? And this is always the tricky part, especially from the marketing side. You need to explain it, or at least you need to get the attention of the people that you have the actual chance to explain it. This is the tricky part, very tricky part, right?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I think the fund is probably, for most people, it's the biggest and most important part of the project.
Definitely. Can tell you, this is a very big part.
possibly brings the biggest risk as well, in terms of if it doesn't work out.
Exactly. This is
It's a tough one because I think it's probably the best way to market the project is talk about the fund and teach people about the fund, but we're just waiting on that registration to go through. Whereas if it was already gone through, we could show people results of the fund, of distributed payouts and stuff. And I think that on its own would be massive, but we're just kind of waiting around for that.
definitely.
It's kind of I don't know, a bit of a limbo situation for a while.
Definitely. Can tell you. This is
Without
also
sounding too
bugging me.
negative.
No, don't worry. This is like the same. Basically, we are on the same page, right? Me, let's say not as how do people call me here, Paul or Buka or whatever way you want to call me in here. Like privately, this is also, we are exactly on the same page, right? I would love to already be able to distribute money, then because we can show results there, right? We can use these results for the actual marketing then. This would make things a lot easier. Right now, you're just at a stage in which you're basically tied up, right? Tied up. We can still do marketing, we can still put out the effort and everything and still proceed to work on the things in the background. But then for this very essential USP, of course, we want to show, hey, this is working. We can actually just distribute money the same as, for example, with the BUSD rewards, right? And once people receive some money from there, I think this is the stage in the which will change things a lot.
That's it for me as well. I think once the first distribution is given out, it'll be massive.
Definitely. Can tell you. But this is, yeah, we are exactly on the same page there, I can tell you. I would love to already be able to distribute money, right? We could smaller
it's
amounts.
Not even so much about the money. It's sorry to interrupt. It's just for people to see that it's working.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing, right? But then again, I can tell you, we are already checking if we would face any, let's say, major problems with the registration by itself. If we did, for example, a test distribution, right? For example, in which we can show, hey, it's working, right? Because this is also a quite important part there. So from the technical side, it's not that super hard to make it work, right? Just need a distribution contract. But then again, you want to show it to the people, right? Hey, it's working, right? We are able to distribute the actual yield of the fund. And this will be an actual game changer, right? Because this is a very, very big part, very big part for the project by itself. Then again, of course, we started at, like, this was maybe, let's say, a wrong decision we took initially, because we said we want to start with a very low market cap after the pre-sale, right? But then again, you won't, or you are not generating a lot of money which you are able to use if you are running a very, very low cap pre-sale, right? This might also be an issue we faced initially, because if we, for example, said, all right, we will put more effort into the initial marketing and everything else, then we might be able to start a project on a different scale, right? But then again, this is always like this small path, which is very risky to go. Either you start very low and you will face the problem, which we have been facing now with bigger wallets, which actually made a lot of money and then started to DCA out over time, putting up a lot of sell pressure on the chart by itself, right? Don't get me wrong here, it's nothing bad about taking profit and all of that stuff, but this is especially if you start with 80k, you will face this stage definitely at one point. Or then, for example, you have the option, we want to raise more money initially, start with a way higher market cap, but then again, people say, it's already starting with, let's say, for example, 2 million market cap, right? It's tough to move this part and everything. This is another scale then again, right? So kind of tricky from the dev side if you're at the stage of deciding these things. Not to say we did something wrong. I think we did quite well until now with a, like, let's say roughly 150x since the pre-sale. Then of course at some point you will see people taking big chunks of money out, right, and putting up like constant sell pressure. But then again, at some point you want to move forward again, and you want to convert the sell pressure into buy pressure again, right, as a dev team. And this is the point which we are sitting on at the moment.
So is it kind of a case of right now we're just how would you put it, trying to maybe stay in a straight line until we get the registration going, and then we'll go up, then things will take off a bit. I don't want to say trying to survive, obviously.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I get what you mean.
There's only so much we can do until then.
No, I get what you mean. I can tell you the main problem. I think I was talking about this yesterday. I don't remember, but doesn't matter at all. The main problem which we was facing or were facing with the pump we had, because the pump we had, it was a pretty big pump, right? In a like kind of straight line upwards. There was the problem one we faced was the liquidity ratio. So right now, wait, let me pull it up on the screen. This is easier for me to explain it then, actually. Give me a second. Now let's get in here. Then I need this part here. So if you're taking a look at Dextools, for example, right? You see the pooled rep BNB. This is basically the liquidity pool. Right now we have 241 BNB in total in there. And we are sitting on a market cap of, let's say 1.2 million, right? So it is a way healthier liquidity we have reached at this stage. One of the biggest problems we faced, especially in this time here, right? This very straightforward pump upwards was our liquidity. So this was reaching a very, very critical stage. Overall, at let's say roughly 12 million, 12.5 million market cap, we had a liquidity made up of, say, roughly 450 to 500 BNBs. This is way too low, I can tell you. This did lead to this very, very big jump in the chart, right? Because this liquidity ratio was too low overall. So every buy and every sell was impacting the chart way more than it should have. And then again, of course, you need, let's say the goal would be to face a liquidity ratio of 10%. So of the actual liquidity, which is lying in the pool, towards the market cap. 10% is a stage for a crypto project in which you say, we are on a fine page, right? Still working on this, but I can tell you, just, yeah, this is common sense. If I give you the numbers, at roughly, let's say 10 times the market cap we didn't have 10 times the liquidity. We did only have like roughly double of the liquidity pool we already had. So this was one major issue we were facing. And then of course we had the issue since we started at a very, 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 very low price, right? So we started, let's just say 100,000 market cap. People were able to accumulate very, very big amounts of tokens with, let's just say, considerable amounts of money, right? Just keep it this way. So basically people received a lot of tokens if they said, hey, I'm willing to buy in or DCA in more over time, or let's say buy in more in one go. And we had some pretty big wallets, right? We had two wallets. For example, it was the same holder. Doesn't matter who it was, but we had 2 wallets who were basically holding 40 trillion tokens. Over 2 wallets by one holder. He did start to DCA out at this stage, let's say roughly this stage. He did stop the DCA while this very, very big pump was going on, but then again, like halfway the pump, through the pump, started again, basically selling off 2 wallets, for example. And then we had other, let's just say, very big wallets who started to DCA out, right? Not completely, but some were taking profits, which is, as I said before, totally fine, right? Some did basically DCA out very, very big amounts of tokens. So basically this 40 trillion tokens in total DCA'd out together with other wallets, which did put up a lot of sell pressure since the all-time high, right? We were facing the sell pressure throughout this whole stage here, right? At this stage there, where this very big red candle is, the 40 trillion whale, he had like 24 trillion left, rest was sold, decided to dump 24 trillion in one go, which is not, let's say, healthy or let's say a responsible way of cashing out. But then again, it's not my money, not your money, it's his money, it's his decision to take. Won't be mad at this decision at all. But then again, it was a lot, right? Let's say, we as a team, we are happy because most of the wallets, which basically started to DCA out over time in a healthy manner, but then again, together putting up a lot of sell pressure here, right? Which did lead to this part here and then also to this part here, in which we were not able to convert into very good amount of buy pressure.
Can I just ask one question there?
Yes, of course. Just jump in.
So when you say this whale had 40 trillion tokens, would that mean he had multiple wallets?
Yes, 2 wallets.
2 wallets, okay.
Yes, 2 wallets.
You know, is there many? I know I can check this myself, but do you know, is there many of these type of whales left remaining right now?
Like, do you mean money or tokens?
Tokens.
No tokens.
Whales right now?
No tokens. From this, who put this very heavy sell pressure on us, right? This is something which he's out.
Okay. And is there any other whales who have a similar number of tokens left?
No,
only here?
Let's say the only one who was doing this was having a rest of 700 billion, right? This is a big amount of tokens, but then again, no amount in which I would say,
yes,
would be scared of. The main problem we faced was, let me just zoom in so we can take a look, was this very, very big red candle. I think you are aware of this very big red candle there. This was basically the moment in which this 40 trillion whale, he had like 24 trillion left, and he decided to go out completely with the 2 wallets in one go. Or let's say not in one go, but let's say through multiple bigger sell transactions, right? Because he wasn't able to sell everything in one go. So basically this was the moment he ran out completely of the tokens, or of, let's say, existing tokens. And then again, of course, let's say, kind of the end of this very, very heavy sell pressure, right? Because as you can see here, this was pretty heavy sell pressure, not only from this 2 wallets, right? There were other wallets involved in it, which did basically over the course of the time either run out of tokens completely, or stopped to take profits, right? We are in contact with some whales, not every single one out there, but we are in contact with some, especially the early holders, and others others I would consider as safe, right? Because then again, we gave the option, since even before the all-time high, to actually reach out to us if you need to sell, right? But no one ever reached out to us with the telling us, hey, I want to sell. Can we make it like directly with the team, right? No one ever decided to contact us, which was also, let's say, a problem, because this very big drop, it might have been avoided, might have not, depends on. But then again, at least he's out now, right? This is for us as a team, I can tell you, is a big relief, because this is a stage and we would say, okay, we are able now to go again, right? So coming back to your first question, initial question, do we say we would grab around, like, I would just call it this way, grab around this level until the registration is done? No, this is definitely not our goal. We want to create more attention again. I can tell you, through this course here we did add multiple new holder wallets, right, throughout this whole course, in which, let's say, some bigger wallets decided to DCA out, but we then again gained more and more holders, right? So we have some attention out there from the people, and some people which think, all right, I'm just waiting for the right time to buy, right? Because then again, a lot of people are checking this kind of stuff, and you can see, obviously, there was a lot of sell pressure, and then if you dive into BSC scan, you could see a lot of sell pressure was coming from some bigger wallets out there, which is not bad, right? Which is not bad, because at some point they are running out and it will turn around again. But then again, of course, some people are just waiting for this exact moments to happen. So basically, our goal as a team is, even before the company registration, we want to get some more buy pressure in again. Want the chart, let's say, it is nice to grow in this way, right? It is very very nice to be on the holder and team side if you have this very big pumps coming on. But then again, this is something which I always tell the people, with every very big pump coming, the bigger the pump is, the bigger the dump will be afterwards, right? Especially if you're talking about pumps which have been going on a straight line upwards until you reach a 100x, for example, right? This is a very critical stage you face. Then again, we are kind of relieved as a team. I can also tell you, many of our holders which are checking the charts and not checking the chart, but checking BSC scan and everything constantly, they are also kind of relieved already. If he was a bit smarter, he could have sold 12 trillion, wait for us to eat 75% of the dip and sold 12 again. Yeah. This is, let's say, the smart way, but I would also say the way which hurts the project the most then, right? Kind of. I can tell you, I'm glad. I'm glad it's out. The major sell pressure is gone. Very glad about it, because you can see it, right? You can see it in the chart. You're just taking a quick scoop over the chart, just setting it, let's say, at roughly this level from the lines. You see a kind of big resistance we had there for quite some time, right? Sometimes buy pressure occurred, in which we tried to break this actual resistance, but we were not able to, because wallets, let's just say it this way, wallets were watching, and they used this opportunity just to DCA out even more, right? Even more over time. So basically, this was, let's say, I'm glad. I'm very glad they are out now. Very glad, because now we can proceed. And now this doesn't force us to grab around a certain resistance or something like this. Now we have some air to move again, right? Very important. Liquidity is looking way healthier, way better than it was before. Fundamental side is looking very good, right? The whale fund is growing. It's growing slowly, but then again, it's growing over time. Development is in progress and on a very good stage at the moment. So now we have the time and air, let's say this way, we have the time and the air to move again, right? Also very important, because it's not a long time for a investment, right? So coming back from here until now, not a very, very long time, but then again, not very appealing if someone is checking this out like very freshly, right? If he's just checking out the chart, just looking, might this be looking interesting? Doesn't look very, very appealing right now, right? We need to be straight about this fact. So we need to work on it to be very appealing again. We are still up a lot since the pre-sale level and everything, right? But then again, we want to move again. This is something which we want to focus on. Now we have the option. We have way healthier liquidity. Heavy buy pressure is gone. So now is the time to work on this movement again, right? I believe that person thought their sells would hurt the chart bad enough that there would be a lot of panic sellers and we wouldn't recover. He was very, very wrong. Yeah, let's say I know him, right? I know him from very, very early stage on already. Didn't talk to him until now. No reason to. He is not holding any more banks or something like this, right? But he always tried to do it in a way in which he was still taking profits. Let's keep it this way. But then again, trying to enable us to the growth again. But then again, money involved, right? Basically, these big wallets did deny the growth by themselves. So basically, they did hurt their own back by constantly selling, right? Just every day putting up the sell pressure on the chart. Then again, I'm not mad or anything. This two wallets, they did hit 1 million in total holdings at the all-time high, right? Still have this chat somewhere lying around in which someone told me, hey, you made me a millionaire today. At least on paper, right? A paper millionaire today. So yeah, this was quite a lot of movement we had, right? Don't forget this. There were people which made life-changing money at this stage. So yeah, at least from my side, right? This is how I'm privately set up. Yes, it did hurt the chart. It did put a lot of sell pressure on us, but then again, privately, I couldn't be be very mad at someone. Of course, this sucks, especially as a part of the dev team and everything, right? This sucks very hard. But then again, yeah, hard to say it in the right way, right? I think you get what I mean by it.
Sorry, Paul. I have another question here. Just
Yes.
to take it back to the fund again. Have you ever heard of these new security tokens?
Which ones do you mean?
Well, it's a new type of cryptocurrency token. I don't actually know too much about them myself, and I haven't really researched them too much. But basically, what they're supposed to be is fractionalized ownership of, say, digital assets or real estate or stocks or whatever. I'm just wondering, maybe would it be another route we could go down if our current plans don't work out,
Definitely.
or maybe it's worth looking into.
Definitely. We had some talks with another, let's say, developers team who was working for a token which had the goal, or still has the goal, let's keep it this way, to enable through fractional NFTs ownership of, for example, real estate, right? they're facing very heavy regulation problems as well, because you need to be the actual owner through the NFT, right? This is the biggest problem you face. You need to be the legal owner, then everything is fine for the project. No one did achieve this yet, this stage, but this is something which is very, very, very interesting, right? I love this new, let's say, kind of new approach to crypto, using NFTs as an actual real utility, that like this fractional NFTs. I love it, right? I love it.
Has it been done, I wonder, or is it something that's in the works but hasn't been done yet by any project, just say?
Yeah, I would say it's still in the works. There are people which, if you can read this, I think there was a Twitter post, a pretty popular one, which stated, hey, someone sold basically the house for an NFT or something like this. But then again, if you want this such a kind of project to actually work, I'm not aware of a project which has done this whole regulation process, because you would would basically mean that you would need to be able to set up real estate in every country, or let's say every major country out there in the world, to be the actual owner of real estate. And just saying this, for example, in Germany, you have something which is called, like in German, the Grundbuch. This basically is the proof of ownership. So the state is putting your name into the Grundbuch of the real estate and displaying you as the actual owner there. And at exactly this stage, a project would need to be able to set up an NFT, a fractional NFT, as the actual holder. Otherwise, it would be a very, very shady way to do such kinds of businesses, which I would say are not sustainable in the long run. But if you set it up in the right way from the regulation side, you would have something pretty big on your hands, right? I hope I could like answer it at least.
No, you have. Thanks, Paul. It's an interesting part of crypto right now. I was just reading something there as we were talking, and there is articles out there that are saying it's a thing, but I haven't read enough about it to actually find out whether it's been done legally or not.
Yeah, a lot of I know of like at least 3 projects out there which are claiming they have it done, but or at least say when we checked back then, it wasn't done yet from the legal side.
Yeah.
So this was something which I think AJ was also talking about sometimes in some AMAs. No one has basically done this at this stage currently, and this is one of the main issues you have to solve.
If you go down this road, sorry to interrupt, you're basically creating a security, is it?
Yeah, let's say yeah, this is also one of the problems, but this is something which I would say you could avoid, right? Avoid if you set up everything in the right structure. Let's say, for example, we as a project, right? If we just go for the easiest way of registration, offshore, blah, 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 just not caring a lot about the registration by itself, then we, for example, as well could be seen as a security, right? Our fund by itself, it would be seen with the fund regulation, with this this is a lot of regulation which you would face, which would basically mean that the government would force us to KYC every single customer, or let's say investor, we would have, right? And this is not possible if you're running on a DEX like PancakeSwap, right? It's just simply not possible to do so. So this is one of the main problems. Also with some other projects which are getting sued at the moment because people say, hey, this is a security. It was not clear from the beginning, so I will just proceed to sue you, right? This is something which will occur more and more often, at least from our guess in the future, which will also have a very big impact on the crypto market in total. Now here AJ dropped in, legally it's only possible in Malta at the moment.
Okay. So a security is basically any contract where, just say where you're in a contract and you're expecting returns. Is that what a security is?
Like
Any legal contract where you're
like
investment contract where you're expecting returns.
yeah, like if you take a very rough look, yeah, like taking a look very roughly, yes, but this is something which should be handled by the company registration itself, right? This is why it takes so long for us, because if you set it up the right way, talking to the actual regulation of a country, right, and talking to them, hey, we are doing it this way, this way, this way. So we are not a security, right? Our fund works, for example, our fund is working through community polls. So we do not have an actual fund which would need to be regulated at all, right? These are things which should be cleared out beforehand. Otherwise, you would run into issues, or you might run into issues, as you say, because someone is coming, hey, this could be seen as a security. I'm not cool with it. I did, for example, lose some money in there. I will slap you with a lawsuit, right?
Yeah. So at what point or stage would it not be a security? It would not be considered a security. Just to get a clearer idea in my head.
Yes. So AJ, bump in there if I'm wrong or if I'm stating something wrong, because I'm not handling this very deep legal side.
No,
But once the
you're
registration is done in the way we want it to be done, like also the way we
yeah.
say, all right, it takes like roughly, let's just put out 3 to 4 months, right? Then we are safe, right? Because we are registered as a company which is not running a security and not falling under fund regulation. This is the whole purpose we
Okay.
have at the moment. So basically, if we have the registration done, we are safe from this side. This is pretty big for the future, right?
Okay, yeah. Thanks for the answer.
Yeah, Dave, I hope
It's
I could answer some of your
interesting but
questions there.
complicated.
Yeah, very complicated, I can tell you. I'm in contact with someone who is setting up a crypto fund, not tied to a token, but he's setting up a crypto fund by itself. This is a ton of regulation he's facing, right? So, for example, stuff
Yeah,
like basic
I
stuff
can
you need to
imagine.
cover with at least 3 million in holdings, and this is running in Sweden, so it's kind of similar to our rules we have here in Germany, for example. This is a ton of regulation. The paper he did send me, which he said me, hey, can you please take a look at this paper? It is 600 pages explaining it. And in the end, it is just a very simple crypto fund, right? This is it's crazy to actually do
Yeah,
this kind of things from a, let's say, legal safe side.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but then again, as long they told us it's possible, we will go for it. So we said yes. Perfect. We will have an AMA. I guess most likely either, I will just say most likely in the weekend, in which AJ will make a little update on the company registration, because BDO actually, so BDO is the company we are working with for the whole regulation progress. It's a pretty well-known company for this kind of stuff. They did send us the first update, right? Only regarding the whole tax part and everything, which is basically like, I think it was how long? 30 pages in in legal writings there. But he will give out a update with a whole AMA only dedicated to this part. All right. I hope I could answer your questions, Blaine, in an appealing way. Let's keep it this way. No, but this is something which we are also thinking of as a dev team, right? You need to think of many, many different things in the background. As for example, there's always the possibility to actually fail. So how will we proceed from this point on? There's always the possibility that, for example, the company registration is facing some major issues. So we will basically take a look at it. Nice, position you. I like to see that bubble. Keep it up, please. So yeah, a lot of different stuff which you would actually need to handle there. All right. I hope I could give all of you a little bit of insight on the current stage, on the fund, on some upcoming things. So keep in mind, tomorrow we will have... tomorrow we will have Scorpion Capital with us in here. On Friday we will have Rome with us in here. So basically, if you have any questions there, just saying this again, very, very fresh and new projects there. So an AMA is of course needed to make the right research for everyone, to actually take a poll for the fund. So attend it and strike them with the hard questions, right? This is always good to have. If you can't make the AMA at any point, just send us any questions you have, and we will answer them, or better, let's say, ask them in the AMA with them. All right. So if there's nothing, I believe nothing which I missed. There's something. Look at Safe Moon buys. There's like 20 greens, $100 to $500, and bam, 5 cal sell. Then again 20 buys and bam sell. Yeah, it's kind of same issues there, right? And then again, very low overall volume in the market. Just for example, take a look at Bitcoin trading volume. It's very, very low currently. So the overall interest to actually invest at the moment is pretty low. So yeah, facing different things here, but nothing which I would say we couldn't handle, right? At least together as a community. All right. I guess I covered basically everything for today. So be sure, tomorrow, 20 UTC, Scorpion Capital will be over. We will announce it on social media and everything. And on Friday we will have Rome over, which is also pretty interesting there. And keep your hard questions, as I said before there, right? We want to get in deeply. Scorpio, yes, they are currently in the pre-sale stage until today, for a fair launch. If you want the link, Flame Bull, I can send it to you. No problem, right? And you can basically start a little bit of digging there for yourself. Yes, don't worry. If you missed it, I know the actual dev. You too, Chris. All right, no problem. I know the actual dev, not personally, but for quite some time now. He was involved in a Discord, which is basically also with us on our journey since the very start. Also from finance, traditional finance, this guy, and it seems like from the first sight very, very nice. But then, of course, you need to ask all of the crypto questions first, right? All right, now I will send it to you too. If anyone else needs the links for the pre-sale, just let me know. I can send it to you directly. And they will be over at our place tomorrow. All right. Otherwise, I would say big thank you for everyone attending. Blaine, big thank you for the questions. I like this type of questions. I like to answer this type of questions because this is nothing which I would talk about like initially, right? Just ask the questions and then we try to answer them in the right way. And otherwise, I would say we will hear each other again tomorrow, right? Same
Thanks a
time.
million, Paul. Thanks for answering all the questions.
Yeah. No, as I said before, I love it when someone actually engages with me with this type of questions because then we have the chance to answer them, right? Rather ask the questions, like any questions you have, and then we can answer them actually, right? If you keep these questions for yourself, then we wouldn't be ever able to answer them, right? So always ask any questions. This is what the whole reason why we have an AMA, right? All right. Oh, but then again, big thank you. And we will hear each other again tomorrow, right? So then, people, bye-bye, and we hear each other again.
Thank you. See you now.
Thank you, Blaine. Bye-bye.
Nice.